I grew up in Cary. When I bought my first house, I bought a house in Holly Springs and I lived there for 10 years. When my family outgrew that house and we needed to move, we literally moved just over the border into Fuquay-Varina. I have now chosen to live in Fuquay-Varina for the last 12 years. With that kind of history, 40 years in the Triangle, I have seen things that others haven't. So today we're going to talk about 5 things that only I would know from all my years of living in the Triangle. Let's go. So like I said, I have lived in the Triangle for 40 years. I have watched Cary grow from a small town with just one high school to a much larger town with a significantly larger population, multiple high schools, and a variety of people from all over the country and the world. When I moved to Holly Springs in 2004, there was nothing here. Holly Springs was nothing like it is today. I watched Holly Springs grow and bring businesses in that I used to have to drive 20, 30 minutes all the way to Cary for. When I moved to Fuquay-Varina 10 years ago, there was more development, more had come. I could go to Holly Springs for some things and I was right on the border. I could go to Fuquay for some things because I'm right on the border. But even in the last 12 years in Fuquay-Varina, I have watched this town explode. And it has been exciting to see it happen. Now, I'm not getting this information off the internet. I'm not reading you some book that was published. I lived this because I've been here for so long. This isn't a pros and cons list. I already did that. This is about the texture and the feel of life here. So let's talk about when I moved here 12 years ago. When I moved to Fuquay-Varina 12 years ago, it was a small, quiet town. It had a much different feel. Since then, the population has boomed. There didn't used to be a lot of traffic to get from one side of Fuquay to the other. Now, sometimes when I leave my house on one side of Fuquay and need to get to the other side of Fuquay, it could take me 20 minutes depending on traffic. Well, that's only because the infrastructure hasn't caught up yet, but it's getting there. Lots of road improvements are happening to try to make getting around town easier. If you go online and you look for information about Fuquay-Varina, you might find information that is outdated. Could be years old. That's why I started this channel. With this channel, I will provide up-to-date information on the town of Fuquay. That's why I started it, so that people will have a place to go to find real, relevant information about Fuquay-Varina. Let's talk about Cary. I grew up in Cary. I know it well. For decades, Cary was where everybody wanted to be. It was the aspirational Triangle suburb. Easy to get to RTP from Cary. Easy to get to Raleigh from Cary. It was where people wanted to be. Well, as these towns have changed and things have grown, new roads have been built. We now have I-540, which will help you get to RTP a lot faster, even from Holly Springs, Fuquay, or Apex. Cary is still a great town. However, in Fuquay-Varina, you will get more for your money. You'll have more affordable housing for your dollar. Now, that doesn't mean that the median income is low in Fuquay-Varina by any stretch of the imagination. In Cary, the median income is about $129,000 right now. In Fuquay-Varina, it's about $105,000. So it's not a significant difference in median income. We are attracting all sorts of people to Fuquay-Varina. Everybody wants to live here. What you need to remember is buyers aren't settling for Fuquay-Varina. They are choosing it intentionally. I made this choice 12 years ago. I made the choice because this was the more affordable option for my family. For us to stay in a house for years and years and years that would fit our needs as our daughter grew up and eventually she'll leave. Holly Springs is more nuanced than it looks. I lived in Holly Springs for 10 years. That's where I had my daughter and brought her home to our very first house. I know it as well as I know Fuquay-Varina. As a matter of fact, for a while, up until just recently, if I wanted to go to Target, the closest one was in Holly Springs. There is now one in Fuquay-Varina that just recently opened. From the outside, both towns look similar. They're both in southern Wake County, and they're both growing. Holly Springs is planned, uniform, polished. They've widened roads. They were doing that before Fuquay-Varina was. Fuquay-Varina, we are having some organic growth. We have 2 historic downtowns. I say that in almost every video because I think it's one of the things that makes us the most awesome town. There are real roots in Fuquay-Varina. People that have lived here their entire lives. Neither one is better. They just have different feels. Visit both towns on a Saturday morning. You'll know which one feels like home. The growth trajectory in all of these towns is very real, and it is unlike anything I've ever seen. I watched Cary grow, I watched Holly Springs grow, and I watched Fuquay grow, and it's still growing. And right now, it has a different energy than either of those 2 towns. Like I said, we have Target. We are widening roads and making it easier for people to get around. You can hop on 540 in Holly Springs, so not too far. Holly Springs buyers that got in early made an exceptional decision. Cary buyers, before it became Cary, made an exceptional decision. Fuquay-Varina is in that window right now. Get into Fuquay-Varina now while you can. Now, I'm not a financial advisor. I can't predict markets, but I know what early signs of a town finding its stride look like. And I'm seeing them here right now. The community feel here is genuinely different. It's hard to quantify, but it's real. We have longtime residents that have been here for generations. Newer folks that are moving from other parts of the state, other parts of the country, even other parts of the world. We have a farmer's market, food truck rodeos, and events that draw people in and have that small town feel. You can't plan that into a suburb from scratch. I've been here for 12 years and I still feel that community. Property taxes are a real budget consideration here. You should always check wakegov.com. Taxes can change. I walk all of my buyers through the entire picture so that they know not just the mortgage piece, but also what to expect as far as taxes goes. Schools, that's another question I get asked often. You should go to greatschools.org or wcpss.net to research schools in the area. That will help you decide which school might be the best fit for your family. I'm Julia Smith with Howard Hanna Allen Tate Real Estate. I've been in the Triangle for 40 years. I grew up in Cary, 10 years in Holly Springs, 12 years in Fuquay-Varina. Nobody knows this market better from the inside than I do. I love to talk about the Triangle, and that's what I do every day. I offer a free 30-minute consultation. The link is in the description. Drop a comment. Let me know what surprised you the most about this video. I read them all, and I'll see you in the next video.